Alright guys, first thing I want to tell you guys is I'm sorry about my appearance. Appearance isn't so good because I'm sick with the shingles. Diagnosed this morning from the medical facility, given stuff for it, but I'm going to beat it with Jesus' help. You better believe it. Listen, I wouldn't be making a video during these days, but somebody sent me something and I have to bring it to your attention. And I can't pose to you how important this is, okay? So I really need you guys to listen up. If you think what I'm telling you is hogwash, I really feel sad for you. I really do. This says U.S. military prepares to close all borders under H1N1 national emergency. Now I'm going to give you some background on myself. Been working on the border for a long time, guys. A long time. All of a sudden they're shutting us down December 31st. We have orders where all of us are to leave the border, vacate where we've been staging our equipment, and make sure it's nice and clean, and we have to be out of there and gone. I'm talking to you about a 21-year operation being shut down. Okay? Now, I'm going to read to you what was sent to me. I'm going to cut through the red tape here and get right to it. Military planning for possible H1N outbreak. This was off of CNN in Washington. The U.S. military wants to establish regional teams of military personnel to assist civilian authorities in the event of a significant outbreak of the H1N1 virus this fall. Obviously, this was back in April or May. They were just waiting on a proposal to be signed by Defense Secretary Robert Gates. Now, that's not news to me. I've known that. The officials would not be identified because the proposal from the U.S. Northern Command, also known as NORTHCOM, its General Victor Renart, has not been approved by the Secretary. The plan calls for the military task force to work in conjunction with FEMA. There is no final decision on how the military efforts would be manned, but one source said it would likely include personnel from all branches of the military. Here's a scenario for you guys of what might happen during one of these special crisis committees. Dear President Obama, thank you, Dr. Zaramba. After consulting with congressional leaders and Secretary of Defense, I now declare that the civil authorities lack the resources to cope with the epidemic virus H1N1. Therefore, it is my sad duty to impose the status of martial law in the United States of America. I order now closing our borders, and also ordered all military reservists to report for work within 24 hours. I have instructed all aircraft grounded, all travel interstate suspended, and all schools closed. We currently deploy some Army units along our southern borders, and an agreement with Canada will result in closure of the border based on the allocations of specific areas of responsibilities of this country. Here's the official information, guys, backing up the quotes that I just gave you. The following information was obtained from global research about how martial law could be instituted in the United States should there be a national emergency declared. Okay? Which just was. If you haven't been watching the news lately, he did declare a national emergency over this outbreak. In addition to the federal laws above, the Bush Executive Orders HSPD 21 and the Pentagon plan suggests a hidden agenda behind today's swine flu crisis as a way to institute martial law on the pretext of public health emergency, using hyped fear to win popular acquisition. Can't say that word. Acquiescence. On April 4th, 2003, an executive order 13295 issued a revised list of quarantinable communicable diseases that included cholera, diphtheria, infectious TB, smallpox, yellow fever, severe acute respiratory syndrome, also known as SARS, and viral hemorrhagic fevers like Ebola and Lassa. On April 1st, 2005, Executive Order 13375 was amended to Executive Order 13295 by adding the following new subsection. Subsection C states, influenza caused by a novel or re-emergent influenza virus that are causing or have the potential to cause a pandemic. The October 2007 It's funny, October 2007, during the time of the big, huge wildfires in California, President Bush was signing this. HSPD 21. It establishes a national strategy for public health and medical preparedness, which builds upon principles set forth in the 2004 Biodefense for the 21st Century and will transform our national approach to protecting the health of the American people against all disasters. It calls for nationwide, robust, and integrated biosurveillance to provide early warning and ongoing characterization of disease outbreaks in the near real time. Countermeasure stockpiling and distribution of medical countermeasures, i.e. vaccines, drugs, and therapeutics, to a large population. Mass casualty care, created by a catastrophic health event. And community resilience, whereby civic leaders, civilians, citizens, and families are educated regarding threats and are empowered to mitigate their own risk. In addition, the federal government must be involved in medical preparedness to assist nationwide in the face of a potential catastrophic health event. In May of 2007, the Department of Defense Implementation Plan for Pandemic Influenza prepared for a possible H1N1, also known as avian flu pandemic, that could affect up to 1/3 of the population and kill as many as 3 million in just weeks. It was claimed it involved using U.S. troops to put down riots, guard pharmaceutical plants and shipments, and restrict the movement of people inside the country and across the borders. This plan remains active, and the U.S. laws authorize it, including Section 1076 and 333 of the John Warner National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2007 that amended the 1807 Insurrection Act and 1878 Posse Comitatus Act. You hear that, guys? They amended the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878. They prohibit using federal and National Guard troops for law enforcement except as constitutionally allowed or expressly authorized by Congress in times of a national emergency like an insurrection. The President may now announce a public emergency, which he just did, declare martial law, suspend the Constitution, and deploy U.S. troops on city streets to suppress what he calls disorder. Bush to be dictator in a catastrophic emergency. It just goes on to talk about how he instituted all these things, and a lot of the things built up to this, such as Katrina and the avian flu. You guys, be on your toes. Be on your toes, and you need to be ready. Have your bug-out bags ready. Have your stuff ready to go, because time is imminent. I, myself, as a service member, will get the phone call 24 hours prior to the Institute of Martial Law. Okay, are you hearing me? I will get a call 24 hours prior to the institution of martial law, which he can do right now under level 6 pandemic. He has created a situation where the military can come into your city streets and lock you down. They're about to lock down our borders, people. Pay attention, get ready, because time is at hand. God bless you. End time 777.